Hello and welcome to Waadaplaya Weekly. This is our third episode where we bring you a weekly roundup, or we try to bring you a weekly roundup of what's happening in the world of cricket, leagues, international cricket, women's cricket, and what's happening around the world. Today I have a lot of cricket experts with me. I've got Vishak from Bangalore, Anil from Surat, and Shivam from Delhi. Guys, how are we doing?
Great, Sanjay.
Shivam's back from his disappointment in the Mumbai Premier League, but we won't get to. That's not part of our weekly roundup. But anyways,
Let's focus on the more important leagues that are going on rather than Mumbai Cricket League.
Excellent. So we'll talk about the South Africa-England series, which recently got concluded. The Cricket World Cup qualification scenarios. Bavuma, different leagues happening in the world, duplicate Ashwin, and we'll round up with the upcoming super important Gavaskar Trophy. So we'll start with the South Africa-England series, the ODI series, which was nicely sandwiched in between that SAT20 league. Very surprising how that scheduling works. But surprise, surprise, Vishak, South Africa beat England 2-1, and I think England had a run up for like 5 ODI losses after they lost the second ODI, but a very good win for South Africa in a World Cup year.
Definitely. I think the initial 3 came after the T20 World Cup, I guess. They played 3 ODIs against Australia. I wouldn't look much into it because that was a weekend side. They sent after the World Cup. They played with the second string side against Australia and they lost there. And this one, I think even here, I don't think it was a full strength squad. They did not have Ben Stokes. They did not have Joe Root. Bowling was still they had Jofra Archer back, which is good, and he also first match he was a little rusty. I guess meant for around 80 odd runs. But second game he didn't play, but the third game he showed how destructive he can be. His team is actually good, looking good with respect to the batting. They scored 300 plus twice. The second game they lost because of their bowling actually. They scored 342 but they still lost. Even in the first game, if you see, until 30 overs, they were in very good position until Jason Roy got out. They're continuing with their bang approach, go hard and try to score big. But somehow I still do not understand how they lost from that position. At 30 overs, they were going almost at 7 runs per over. And they needed around 4.8 or 5 runs per over in the last 20 overs. And they had 8 wickets in hand and Jason Roy got out. And all of a sudden, it was a sudden collapse in the first ODI. And second ODI, again, after scoring 342, you are expected to win most of the games.
Yeah. Anil, the biggest surprise obviously was Temba Bavuma getting this 100, shutting up all the critics, getting them off his back, because everyone keeps criticizing how he his strike rate is poor, etc. But that is a very, very important and good innings.
The criticism happens because of his T20, the way he has played the T20 matches. But other than that, I think Test match and ODI, I think he's a decent bat. He did play really well. Opening, and he makes sure that the strike rate or the run rate, doesn't go really high. It didn't really pass on to 8 and all. When England lost the first ODI, this is where South Africa, we don't know the main names. Most of the teams have less than 50 ODI experience, so that's a new team. So when they're able to win the first match and the second match, I think they gain confidence, and that's how they managed to chase it. Even the third ODI, it became closer at the end. I think you had Henry Klaasen, who played a blinder of an inning, and then you had someone else also joining him at the end. So if there was another Wayne Parnell, actually, so if there was another support as such, then I think South Africa would have ended up winning all the 3 ODIs. I think where England lost is, I feel Harry Brook or the middle order batsman was not clicking. So if you see even the third ODI where they managed to score 340, it was because of Joss Butler and Malan, who actually came at 20 for 3 and then eventually scored centuries. Good start, and then you end up losing the second part, but then you have a bad start and then you're doing well at the end. So everyone has to fire if they really have to go big bang kind of their approach. The bowling, again, they keep making those changes. Afra took 6 wickets in the last ODI, but the first couple of matches he was still little rusted. So I wouldn't think a lot from an England side, but from South Africa side, I think there's definitely some positives. So it was more of a series for South Africa, like a bigger win for South Africa than a bigger loss for England.
No, absolutely, it's quite huge in the context of the Cricket World Cup that's going to happen later this year. The qualification scenarios, etc., are out. Unfortunately for South Africa, their chances was slightly dented because obviously they didn't win all 3 games, and there was a penalty point as well because of slow overrated for the third ODI. But I think they still got a fair chance. Looking at the standings of the Super League table, they are at number 9, and Sri Lanka are number 10. And West Indies at number 8. So only the top 8 teams do have automatic qualification. West Indies haven't got any more bilateral series as part of this Super League. But South Africa and Sri Lanka have a chance in their upcoming series to win it with a good margin, etc., and then make up for that automatic qualification spot. So yeah, West Indies is the only one who can go out, but at least Sri Lanka and South Africa can potentially catch up. Shivam, just concluding on Bavuma's point, happy to see him at least get a contract for South Africa T20 league, because yes, we may question his strike rate, but surely he's good enough to play in their own domestic league.
The only thing with Bavuma is, I mean, if you look at the last 10, 12 years, right, the kind of players that have captained South Africa, Graham Smith, a brilliant personality, right, a cult batsman, AB de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, Quinton de Kock. I mean, Quinton de Kock is for me is probably right there as one of the best players that have come in the last few years, especially in white ball. It's just that Bavuma, with his personality, I mean, is he captaincy material that goes under the radar? Having said that, I mean, just happy for him. I mean, it was literally, I almost went into tears looking at his face when they lost to, I don't know, I think Netherlands in the T20 World Cup, right? I mean, the kind of expression he had. So happy for him that he's scoring well and doing well. But I think Vishak made a good point, just before we started this session, that I think the kind of game Bavuma has, it's ideal suited for ODIs, right? Not too slow, not too fast, right? So he sort of goes out of his comfort zone in T20s, but I think in ODIs he's well suited. Happy for South Africa, and happy to see at least, a team, a match in which South Africa is not choking and the other team is choking. What happened in the first match. So yeah, pleasant surprise for all of us.
Yeah, and Sunrisers team, obviously in the South Africa T20 league have bought Bavuma, and I've got a message from Suman that he wants Bavuma to be part of the Sunrisers Hyderabad team. So who knows, he might get through. Moving on quickly to the recently concluded India New Zealand, the next version of Paytm, the Mastercard series. Again, we are back in good form after losing all the multilateral tournaments, ICC tournaments, etc. Vishak, we are back to winning BAU, business as usual. We had a little scare in the T20Is, but 2-1 is a fair result on Indian soil for India, who were the favourites going into the tournament.
Again, Mastercard in this Paytm series, we are expected to win almost everything. So in India, we coming to India, for any team and beating us in a bilateral series is almost impossible. So because we are very strong at home, and we have almost, I think, we even achieved our 50th win in T20As at home. We are the first team to win 50 T20As at home also. So that shows our how strong we have been at home. But our main problem has been, even if you go overseas, also we are doing good at bilateral series, I think. But only when it comes to the knockouts of the ICC tournaments, that's where we are choking. So maybe after 2013, we have not won an ICC tournament. We all know that. It's high time this year. Started on a good note. The women have won the Under-19 World Cup. So there are 2 more World Cups which are coming. One for Women's World Cup and one Men's World Cup. So hopefully we win both of them.
Yeah, India are the real jokers actually, but
Sanjay, look at the pain of all of our. I mean, all fan of. We defeated New Zealand in the third T20. They got all out for 66, and we managed to score 235. Look at the difference, and we didn't care. we didn't care. I mean, when I say we didn't care, like we were not like joyous enough. All we want is where we play a knockout. I mean, a tournament, and we win that tournament. This is what is all missing right now. We need an ICC trophy. So the earlier one would be the ICC Test Championship. That's why BGT is very important. We need to qualify. We need to win that final. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit deviating, but I'm just trying to pinpoint, saying even though we won a T20 series, we won an ODI series very comfortably, but we don't care that much. We just want to see an ICC tournament win from India.
I don't care at all. I simply don't care what we do with bilateral. I'm happy for us to lose as many games as we want to, because eventually a lot of the players who are playing in the T20s, maybe next year they're not around, and it's the big game problem which we have. In the 90s we used to have an issue qualifying for the finals, then we started qualifying, then we had issues winning the final, then under Dhoni we started winning finals, and then we are back to square one where we are even not qualifying for the finals. But
forget the Mastercard, Paytm, City, whatever the trophy is. But one thing, if striking impact during the series is the kind of leadership that Hardik Pandya displayed, right? And I mean, he's the future captain. Rohit Sharma, this is probably the last World Cup, and T20 mein, I think it's pretty much clear, right, that Hardik Pandya is going to be the captain.
Rahul said, what is split captaincy? He doesn't even know. So I mean, if you go by Rahul Dravid, then
he's already, Hardik Pandya is featuring in all the promos and everything, right? And the kind of, just look at the tone that he has in these post-match interviews. ये तो अभी से बोलने लग गया है, मेरा team है, मेरा ये, मेरा वो. But just one thing, I was just looking at day before yesterday, I was looking at a IPL highlight match. I think it was Chennai versus Hyderabad. I think it was just before the final, right? 2018 final, which Chennai won. So a journalist asked Dhoni that how difficult it is to not bowl Harbhajan when he's in your 11, right? And Dhoni famously said that dialogue that at my home I have a lot of bikes and cars, but I don't use all of them at once. Something similar happened in this game, right? I think I forgot which it was, the second match or the third match. India had three spinners and two pacers, and Deepak Hooda ended up bowling his four. Right, Deepak Hooda bowled his 4 overs.
No, that was second. In the third game, Sundar wasn't used.
And Arshdeep came into bowl, I think, the 18th over. So Arshdeep bowled the 18th and the 20th over, and Shivam bowled 19th over. तो 17 ओवर इन्होंने बैक टू बैक स्पिनर से कराए, पार्ट टाइम व्हाटएवर. जो दो फ्रंट लाइन पेसर्स हैं उनको लास्ट के 3 ओवर के लिए रखा.
And poor Yuzichal didn't complete his quota. Hardik Pandya completed his quota.
Yes. So,
my captain.
What I'm just
2 overs in the power play, just gave 4 runs and picked a wicket. And poor guy stemmed the run flow in the power play and doesn't bowl later.
Then get dropped.
Right.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm trying to make is that Yuzi not completing his 4 overs, Pacers को last का 1-2 ओवर दे रहे हो, मतलब bowling ही नहीं दिया पूरा मैच. I'm not saying Dhoni template. I'm just saying Hardik is trying to maybe follow that template, right? Not caring about the journalists, just going by his gut feel. Not necessarily he thinks that, okay, if I'm playing 5 bowlers need to bowl 4 overs each. I'll finish my quota or I'll get Deepak Hooda to bowl. At least I think this is the first time ever Deepak Hooda has completed his quota of overs, right? We all kept shouting for the last one and a half years that, if Deepak Hooda is there, use him for 1 or 2 overs, right? Otherwise, is he playing as a pure batsman or not? So what I'm just trying to say is those shades of, Dhoni type captaincy are coming out from Hardik Pandya. Hopefully, he gets some luck as well from the Dhoni era and just get an ICC trophy for us.
There's the rise of Shubman Gill and how basically he's one of the most elegant batsmen we've had in the last 10 years, I would say. And he got that extra chance in T20s. I thought he should have been dropped after 5 failures in T20s, and Prithvi should have got that chance. But he got that extra chance and he made the most of it. 120 or not out in a T20 is just unreal.
He got that chance when he was 38 or something. I think he was dropped. He scored his 50 of around 35 balls. And after his 50, the way he accelerated, it was not slogging, it was pure cricket shots, it was all timing. 120 odd is, I think, the highest score by an Indian in a T20 international, overtaking Virat Kohli's 119, I guess. The way he even scored a double hundred in the ODI series as well. So the way he is actually shaping up, it's good for Indian cricket, but I would like to see him how he performs in Test cricket. That is more important for me. Because I think he will open with Rohit Sharma, if not for KL Rahul. I'm not sure, but I think he has to open in Test cricket along with Rohit Sharma. He has to start the kind of form he is in. I think recently, like in the Test series, whichever he has played, he has been found out with his technique in Test cricket actually, because with the moving ball is little vulnerable. So that's where he needs to tighten up his technique, and how he comes up in Test cricket would be more important.
We'll come to Border Gavaskar in 30 seconds. शिवम के मन में कोई बहुत फालतू जोक आया मुझे लगता है. शिवम बोल दो.
मेरे दिमाग में ना बहुत देर से चल रहा है that the audience kept on saying भाभी कैसी हो, भाभी कैसी हो. अभी भी हमारा ग्रुप वाला क्वेश्चन आंसर नहीं हुआ. that basically कौन सी भाभी की बात हो रही है.
सारा भाभी की बात हो रही है.
But कौन सी वाली सारा, सारा वाली सारा या वो वाली सारा वाली सारा. So the thing is, Shubman needs to tighten his technique, rotate the strike, and put an end to this question that which Sara are we talking about.
Jokes aside, right? Concentrate on Border Gavaskar Trophy. I think this is the biggest Test series we'll have this year. If anything, this is probably even more important than the Ashes in the context of the World Test Championship final. Obviously, Australia is already there. They are practicing in a very lovely little ground. World Test Championship being on the line, there's a lot to play for India and for Australia, because this is effectively their final frontier. After 2004, they haven't won much here, and India's record at home has been impeccable under the leadership of Virat Kohli, and even in the last year or so post return. But I have a doubt in terms of how good we'll perform.
We're going to really perform bad. We're going to be there, but I can expect Australia to perform a little well, given their recent performance and their hunger also to do well. Yeah, they look really confident. They're coming there. They know what to prepare, how to prepare. They got those bowlers. They prepared a pitch for themselves. So it looks like it's gonna be. I hope it's a well fought series. But having said that, I think India will still have a upper hand. For the fact being that to beat India in India it's very difficult. I think you can mention about any other country in the world, but when it comes to home advantage, India is definitely number one. And it's not just about spinning track. Yeah, you could be slow, but our bowlers who have taken a lot of wickets in India are your Jadeja, Pragyan Oja, Ashwin, right? They're not really spinner. They don't spin the ball from one side and comes to the other side. They have different various length, and they use the slowness of the pitch very well. So that would be a challenge. So if they're just going to play, I saw a few of their stroke. They were just trying to sweep and all. That may be effective against Ashwin and all. But if Akshar Patel and Jadeja, they comes to their form, it will be a little bit difficult. And and also from the importance perspective of Test match, they keep saying that India is all about IPL. India is all about IPL. This is the series where we'll see the maximum viewers for any Test match series. Let it be Ashes, let it be the series in Australia, but Indian matches, and that too in India, you will see the most number of viewers. So it's also important from a Test match perspective for the entire world also, because this is going to be the highly watched series also.
But the Australians are leaving no stone unturned in terms of preparations, cuffing up the wickets in Alur, and also getting a duplicate Ashwin, basically. So they found this guy who's identical to who's got an identical action to Ashwin. I don't know. Can you bowl like Jadeja? Shivam, you can go and have a go probably.
I am in fact eagerly waiting for Ashwin's reaction on Twitter to this whole duplicate Ashwin thing and Australia preparing for Ashwin. I'm eagerly waiting for his reaction. But on the series,
more than Twitter is on YouTube now, so maybe he'll speak on YouTube.
Yeah. But see, on this series, of course, India go into the series as favorites, right? But see, if you want to just compare it to others, earlier series. So when India traveled to South Africa recently, right? So everybody said that this is the best chance for India to, win in South Africa. The time when India, traveled to Australia, when Warner and Smith both were not there. So again, people were saying that this is the best time for, best opportunity for India to win in Australia. Although they repeated in the next series. So I think this is the best opportunity for Australia to win in India. I mean, if you just look at the form that Australia brings into this series, I mean, they simply crushed England in the Ashes. In Pakistan, I agree the pitches were absolutely worse than highways, but I mean, still Australia found out a way to win that series, and that too on the last day of the series, right? This basically shows the kind of see in those during the Ashes, the matches were getting finished in 3 days, 2.5 days, 4 days. But that Pakistan series, right? It took a lot out of Australia, and to literally keep on hanging in there, and then going on to win on the last day just shows the immense grit and passion this Australian team has, right? Then going on to Sri Lanka in the 2016 series, I think Sri Lanka whitewashed them 3-0 if I'm not wrong, when Australia traveled to Sri Lanka in 2016. So Australia won the first test there as well. They drew the series 1-1. So Australia coming back of some good subcontinent form, right? And given the fact we don't have Rishab Pant, I mean, Rishab Pant has been that X factor in Test, right? Whenever we are 30 for 2 or 80 for 3, suddenly Pant comes and scores a 50 ball 60, and the whole dynamics of the match changes, right? Now with Rishabh Pant not there, our bowling, yes, spinners, of course, Akshay Patel, Kuldeep, all are there, but our pace attack is not that pace attack, right? Which Kohli had built over these years, right? I mean, our pace attack was wanting in that South Africa series and the final match in England, right? I mean, those 250, 270 scores, we used to defend them quite easily. But in the last 4-5 test matches, if you see, we have not been able to defend in the fourth innings. So our pace attack is not that pace attack which was there under Kohli, right? I mean, the players are the same, Bumrah, Shami, but I don't know that level is not there. So I think probably a 2-2 score. I mean, it might be a 2-2 score line, and if India go into it as favorites, but Australia have a very very good chance to at least level the series at 2-2.
No, I agree. I think in addition to Pant not being there, I think the biggest change, and you can see some of the close games which we've not been able to close out or win in England and South Africa. Even New Zealand got a draw when they toured India last time. And our ability to place good spin, I think that's going to be a challenge as well. And Virat Kohli as a captain, I think we'll miss him badly. So I think it's going to be a true test of Rohit Sharma, the batter, as well as the captain, because he's coming back after a long time. And I think 2-2 would be a very fair result, but I wouldn't be surprised if Australia win the series.
The good part about this series, the build-up to the series, I mean, there's not much talk going about on Virat Kohli, but I think this is sort of Virat Kohli's, like, the final, the missing piece, right? He's delivered in T20, scored 100 there, was amazing in the World Cup. Then he has scored 200-300 in ODIs. So abhi test hi bacha hai. So I think Virat Kohli will close that loop and, in this Australia series score 1 or 200 and then just simply say ki, okay, he's back for good, right? T20 ho gaya, ODI ho gaya, but test bhi ho gaya.
If you see over the last 3 years, our top order hasn't delivered. It's our middle order and the lower middle order, as well as our bowling, who have actually kind of saved us, and we have won test matches there. And Rishab Pant, as Shivam mentioned, plays those cameos, sometimes goes along and scores a quick 100. The way he counter-attacks. The way he counter-attacked even Jimmy Anderson, we all remember that shot. So the reverse sweep against Jimmy Anderson. So the way he counter-attacks and breaks the bowlers' confidence. Like they look to be on top, and the way he comes and he completely takes the game away from the opposition. That's the kind of game he has. That will be a big hole for India. So like how we fill that Rishab Pant sized hole will be an important thing. From bowling side, I think we are covered. We have the 3 top class spinners plus Kuldeep Yadav also in the squad. So I think from the bowling side we are covered, and mainly I think more than Ashwin, Jadeja and Akshar Patel will be the threat because like they themselves don't know when the ball turns from their hand.
Plus, the Australian team haven't found a duplicate for them, so that's the other.
Australia have only one proven spinner, and I know they have Swepson and one more new guy, but Lyon will be required to do the bulk of the bowling and get the wickets, whereas India will have 3 spinners to actually share the spoils. I think so. That's where I think India will have this slightly upper hand. I know India will, even though there is Lyon, I think India will still look to give spin-friendly pitches where they can dominate with this 3 spinners and take the. Mainly, it will depend. The series will depend on the toss, according to me. Like win the toss, you win the match. It would be like that mostly because batting last would be literally impossible on this pitch.
Quick prediction, Vishak, before I get Anil for closing comments.
My prediction would be 3-1 because I think we have 3-1 India because I think and it's mainly because we are playing one in Lucknow and one in Ahmedabad, I guess. So the way Ahmedabad would be a complete. We saw how it was against England, right? The 2 test matches it almost finished in 2 days. So and Lucknow we just saw how the T20 was.
I think what's more important is Jadeja coming back. Because if you look at the average of our batsmen, highest against spinners is Jadeja, and the lowest is Puchara and Kohli. So that's the only factor. That's the only reason why I think either Australia could win a Test match or they could draw the series. It's just because these 2 batsmen. If these 2 batsmen really play well, I'm not bothered about Gill. Or say Jadeja or anyone else. If these 2 batsmen play their best, I think we are covered. So I expect it to be 3-1, but I'm going to be okay with 2-2 also because I think that's what it's needed for us to qualify. But I don't see anywhere we being 1-2, 1-3, maybe 1-0 if it's really that kind of luck. But other than that, I don't see Australia winning 2 matches and we're not winning the rest 2.
Who's your keeper going to be? You will go with the extra batsman and ask Rahul to keep the gloves, or you need a proper keeper like Bharat for the spin?
I'll go with Bharat. Ishan Kishan has completely been a flop. I would not even let Ishan Kishan near the squad, and Rahul keeping. Sorry. Him keeping in limited overs, it's fine. But in tests, I don't think he has. He can't keep to 3 quality spinners on those friendly pitches. You need a proper keeper to do that. And with the players like Smith and Labuschagne who play spin well, if they give a single chance, you need to grab it. So for that, you need a very good keeper who has the experience of playing first-class cricket against good spinners. So I would go with Bharat.
Will you take Rahul instead of Iyer, or would you go for Sky? Or Rahul is the vice captain? I don't know who the vice captain is.
Rahul is the vice captain.
Iyer, so Iyer is out for the first set, though that had is solved. I don't see Sky fitting into the 11. I think
Excellent. We are just over the half an hour mark, but I think we covered quite a few bits of topics for this week. Vishak, Anil, Shivam, thank you very much. I know, Shivam, you wanted to talk about your disappointment with Pollard retiring from IPL, but going all guns blazing in all the other 125 leagues around the world. But we'll leave it for another day. For our viewers who've joined us and who stayed with us until the last minute, thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to our channel. Please do share it with your friends, family. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Drop in a comment and we will get back to you. Thank you for your time and we'll see you next week, hopefully. Until then, take care and thanks for watching.
Thank you.